Arsenal are getting really close to signing Viktor Gyökeres, and so it's a big story. It's a big move. It's a big one because Arsenal have been looking for a striker for a long time, but now we are almost there in this race to find the new number 9 for Mikel Arteta. And Viktor Gyökeres looks to be the man. Why? What happened? In the last 48 hours, in secret, in silence, in Portugal, with direct talks, Arsenal have been advancing a lot in conversations with Sporting for Viktor Gyökeres. So, first point, Viktor Gyökeres was the one also pushing in this direction. Why? Because Gyökeres told in a very clear way to Sporting, despite the statements from the president in the recent weeks, always saying that he was not going to accept the pact made by former Sporting director Hugo Viana, who now joined Manchester City. So he was not accepting the fixed price of 65 million euros plus add-ons. He wanted more than that. And so, despite those statements, despite the war between Gyökeres camp and Sporting, and despite the whole situation, the player stance was very firm. And then what happened in the last 48 hours is that Gyökeres told in a very clear way to Sporting that he only wants to go to Arsenal, that he's not going to show up for training next week. Sporting are expected to return to training, but Gyökeres will not be part of this, because Gyökeres only wants to leave the club. Gyökeres wants to move on. Gyökeres wants a new chapter. Gyökeres wants Champions League football with Arsenal. And so Gyökeres told in a very strong and clear way to Sporting that he's not going to training. He's not going to play for the club anymore. He wants to go to Arsenal. There is an agreement between Viktor Gyökeres agents and Arsenal with the director, Andrea Berta. The contract is ready, it's a long-term deal, the salary is agreed, the whole package is okay. Gyökeres accepted every condition offered by Arsenal after conversations, and so now, for Gyökeres and other clubs in Italy, Manchester United and all the others, it's over. For Arsenal, the deal is really close to being completed. At the moment, Sporting insisted to have a package, total package of 80 million euros. Arsenal are close to that, but still not there. But there will be more conversations to try to get the deal done. And so Arsenal are advancing. Contacts are constant this weekend. So they are speaking constantly between Sporting, Arsenal, the agents. Viktor Gyökeres is in contact with his agents on every hour basis to be informed on the situation. He's buzzing to go to Arsenal. He's pushing to go to Arsenal. And now the deal is really close. So what a day for Arsenal. 𝐬𝐚𝐥𝐸 finally official from Real Sociedad for 65 million euros. And right after, Arsenal attacking for Viktor Gyökeres, working hard on this deal for Viktor Gyökeres. And so they are almost there. The here we go could come very soon. If Arsenal and Sporting can agree on the final details in the next hours or days, everything can be done for Viktor Gyökeres to be new Arsenal striker. So the story is entering into really crucial stages, and maybe while you're watching this video, some of you, not every one of you, maybe we can already have the here we go in place or almost there, because really they're advancing very fast for Viktor Gyökeres. So we are entering into really important stages, but it's an exciting moment to be an Arsenal fan, because there is Martin 𝐬𝐚𝐥𝐸, because there is Kepa, because there is the negotiation for Mosquera, because there is Viktor Gyökeres, and Arsenal are not giving up also on wingers. Remember what I told you for number 10 position about 𝐬𝐚𝐥𝐸, because Arsenal keep working on conversations with the agents of 𝐬𝐚𝐥𝐸, still no club-to-club contact with Crystal Palace, but Arsenal are also preparing an opening bid for Noni Madueke. Arsenal are ready to make a proposal to Chelsea for Noni Madueke. At the moment, my understanding is that the valuation between the two clubs is quite different. As I told you, still no club-to-club contact yet, but Arsenal are set to make a first bid, so any moment this proposal can arrive. My understanding is that those at Arsenal value the player at some money, and for Chelsea is quite different, so there is still something to understand between the two clubs, and let's see how these conversations will go. I can confirm what I told you with an exclusive update yesterday, that Arsenal have an agreement with Noni Madueke on the contract. It's a 5-year contract, I can add this detail, for Madueke. The salary is okay, the commission is okay, everything is okay. For people involved in the deal, for the player, for Arsenal. Now, the most important part is club to club. And so let's see how this conversation will go. Madueke is open to making this move to Arsenal, staying in London but moving to the Gunners. The conversation is well underway also in this case with the player waiting for the clubs. With this Madueke story that could develop really in the next days. So Arsenal very busy on the market. Arsenal entering into important stages of their summer transfer window with 1 month and a half to go, more than this. So Arsenal are really pushing. And then, guys, I wanted to clarify another story in the recent hours. We had many questions about that, and this about Mohamed Kudus. On Kudus, guys, I keep receiving many questions on several clubs, on several opportunities. Guys, what I'm told about Kudus is that Tottenham made the first proposal to West Ham. It was rejected because West Ham didn't want to accept that value for the player, something around the 50 million for Mohamed Kudus. But First point, Tottenham are expected to bid again for Mohamed Kudus. So in the next days, Tottenham want to attack again. Second point, Thomas Frank has approved internally Mohamed Kudus as a top target for Tottenham this summer, as a crucial target for Tottenham this summer. So they are prepared to advance and push for Mohamed Kudus. And then the player side. Probably the best news for Spurs fans is that my understanding is that Mohamed Kudus wants to go to Tottenham. Kudus gives total priority to Tottenham. Kudus is not negotiating with other clubs because he's giving priority and his intention is to go to Tottenham. So when you see the player with his intention, it's probably the best news possible for the club to try to get the deal done between clubs, in this case with West Ham. But for sure, Mohamed Kudus is taking a position. He wants to go to Tottenham. He has an agreement with Tottenham. Personal terms are not an issue. And so Kudus is pushing to make his move to Spurs, to go with Thomas Frank and to have the opportunity to play with Tottenham. So let's follow the next steps of the story. But for sure, Tottenham are working on this Kudus deal. I expect them to bid again, and it's going to be a busy week for sure, with Viktor Gyökeres and Arsenal, with the Madueke deal. Let's see what happens with Nwaneri, and also the story of Mohamed Kudus and Tottenham, a really concrete story to follow.